I think we all heard the news yesterday that Babylon 5 would be returning. This is a maybe sort of situation, and we'll get into that in a second. And I'll also tell you why, if it does return, it's not going to be what you remember. But if you like great science fiction like you used to remember, the good stuff like John Carter of Mars, like Green Lantern, like all the wonderful superheroes, like the Charlton stuff, like EC comics from the 50s, you're going to really enjoy The Cosmic Warrior. This is my new graphic novel, and it is comprised of a book that I made, which has actually won an award for Best Comic for 2021. So if you want to check out something awesome, support the channel, have quality science fiction again, back this today. You won't be disappointed. This is a 2-week campaign. We're going real quick. There's going to be no in demand, so get it while you can. All right. Here's a series of tweets by J. Michael Straczynski, which is laying out his plan for Babylon 5, the reboot. Now, I don't know why Hollywood can't just tell new stories anymore. They have to reboot everything to death. I can go off on just like how the just lack of creativity in Hollywood has been absolutely absurd over the last decade, but they're trying to play off the member berries of everybody from the 90s and the 80s and the 70s. And this is what you get. J. Michael Straczynski is very happy to play that game. He's really happy to just remake the same thing he made before, but of course, putting a modern spin on it, which is always a recipe for disaster. I have 3 reasons exactly why this is going to be a failure, why it's going to be an SJW travesty, and why it's going to be something that we're just not going to be interested in watching. I can't see this going well by any standard. Number 1, you can see it in the first tweet where he says to answer, yes, it's true, it's an active development series for, you guessed it, the CW. Now, the CW does not make good shows. The CW does extremely low budget, terrible versions, terrible incarnations of what's already gone before. They try to twist everything into some sort of LGBT propaganda or Black Lives Matter propaganda. If you look at Supergirl, for example, which was a great show, a family show, which was premiering on CBS, the second it moved to the CW, the second season, the budget went down. It was atrocious. All the LGBT crap started coming into it. It ruined the show. The CW does this to everything, every single time, and you can expect exactly the same thing out of a rebooted Babylon 5. But this is getting into number 2 reason why this is not going to be something that's going to be exciting, something that's going to be well done. J. Michael Straczynski has really shifted over the last 20 years. If you look at his last attempt at television, it wasn't something fun. It wasn't like Crusade. It wasn't like Babylon 5. It wasn't like Jeremiah from the early 2000s, if you remember that. But he worked on something called Sense8 with the Wachowski brothers. Wachowski sisters. Wachowski them, they, them. I don't know what they are anymore. You'll have to ask them at this point. But if you looked at Sense8, it started with a very reasonable premise about these people, these beings who were telepathically connected, and they were starting this like new evolution of humanity and all that. Very interesting sci-fi, classic sci-fi trope. But as it got into the series became just completely about a transgender person trying to do transgender things, gay people having lots of gay sex, and then some weird orgy where all of them got together and did all those nasty things together. It was something nobody wanted to watch, and people tuned out really quickly because of that just absolute degenerate nonsense that was thrown into what looked like it was supposed to be a sci-fi show. It didn't work out, and this is exactly the path that JMS has been taking. If you look at his tweets, if you look at everything he's done over the last 10 years, he's had Trump derangement, he's had the pure social justice bent to him, and you can expect that he's going to do this with Babylon 5. But he also gives a third reason, other than his other work, in the tweets right here. This is an SJW code, which we hear all the time when they try to just destroy anything that we love, to make anything that was fun before into something that is now, quote, culturally relevant. And here he goes. How can it be used to reflect the world in which we live and the questions we are asking and confronting every day? This is one of those things where he's going to use this saying, it's going to be socially relevant or whatnot. That's always, always, always a big, big red flag for social justice permeating and destroying something that you love. It's very unfortunate. Babylon 5 was, as a story, if you look at it, it of course, mirrored World War II in a lot of its dealings with President Clark and things like that. which, of course takes a social justice bent a little bit. But, a lot of things take from historical battles and things like that. It also mirrored Lord of the Rings, which is why it really resonated on that sort of archetypal level for a lot of us. And I just don't see this happening anymore because Lord of the Rings, World War II, none of that's a relevant reflecting the world we live at this point. It's going to be something that I don't want to watch, unfortunately. At least there's an alternative now. We're making great new content. Please back this Cosmic Warrior. Please support great new independent properties because this is going to be the future. You're going to be a part of it, and I appreciate you guys being there. Let me know what you think. Am I on the right track with what you think Babylon 5 is going to be? Leave a comment down below, hit that like and subscribe button, and we'll be back soon.